Alright guys, so we just got done with the underwater reactor. We saw that the very last piece of huge materia is going to Rocket Town. So that's where we are going to want to go next to proceed on in the story. But before we do that, we have just a few things to do. It shouldn't take too long. Now you're going to spawn outside of Junon. If you remember in the last part, it said you stopped and there was this quick cutscene that said it felt like something was missing. Well, if you notice now, the cannon on Junon is gone. So it looks a little bit different. Your submarine should be right out front. You're going to head down, turn left as you saw. Here's the crashed red submarine that we shot down in the last part. You just run to it. You get the huge materia from it. And then after that, we have two more places to go. Now, if you noticed, just briefly, you saw this green thing floating around, and you can kind of see him right there. That's Emerald Weapon. You just want to stay away from him right now. He'll probably destroy you at this point in the game. We will fight him later on, but it will be later when we're much stronger. So just avoid him for now. Now next up, there is the sunken galinka. That is what we're going to hit last. Before going in there though, there's one more thing that we're going to grab. Now, you don't have to grab this right now, but you are going to have to get it eventually. And since we're down here in our sub already, I just feel like you might as well do it. So you're going to want to head north like you're going to the northern crater. There will be a small pathway coming up. See, it looks like there's a dead end, but if you look right, there's a small pathway we can go through. And there is this, looks like a giant stake or something. It is the key to the ancients. So like I said, we don't need this right now, but we are going to need it to progress in the story. So you might as well just grab it now. You know exactly where it is. And once you grab that, now we are going to head to the sunken galinka. Now, if you've noticed up to this point, getting the huge materia has always been optional. You don't actually have to obtain it to progress through the story. In terms of the actual story, I'm really not sure why Cloud and his friends are trying to get the huge materia from Shinra, because Shinra is actually trying to do some good with it. They're trying to grab all the huge materia, put it in a rocket, and shoot it at Meteor, causing it to explode into a million pieces, saving the planet. And you are keeping the huge materia from them. So in terms of the story, I don't know why you're really trying to get it. But in game-wise, it is very valuable. One of the huge materias is a summon, and then the other are the master magic, or the master materias. So you definitely want to be sure that you're grabbing all of these huge materias. So now we're here at the sunken galinka, and you want to save as soon as you get in here, and you want to spend as little time as possible for now in here, because these enemies are extremely powerful and they can kill you quite easily. So we're not going to spend much time in here. It's just that the items in here are so valuable that we want to grab them as soon as possible. So this is the first room that you can go in. The escort guard is a very strong armor. It nullifies all lightning, earth, water, and poison attacks. So now those will no longer harm you as long as someone is wearing that. Now there's a hidden chest over here, it's hard to see. That is the Conformer. That is Yuffie's ultimate weapon, the one I was telling you about where you can morph people and it does her regular attack damage. Very nice to have when you need to morph people. Then next over in the other corner is one of my favorite materials, the double cut materia. You'll want to put that on as soon as you get it. It does 2 attacks for the price of 1, and once you've leveled it up, it'll do 4 times cut. So you want to get that on there and level it, start leveling it up as soon as you can. This guy is one of the weaker enemies that you will fight in here. The reason being is because he a lot of times will counter with Creepy Touch. Creepy Touch does no damage to you. All it does is causes sadness. And if you have a ribbon on, it won't even do that. You do want to watch out for his Poison Fang. It can do up to 2,000 to 3,000 along with his slap. And then finally, the last chest in this room is a Mega Elixir. So once you get into that room, you will want to save again just in case. Get yourself prepared because there will be a boss fight. Yes, the Turks are here. Now, they say that this will be the last time you see them, but it is most definitely not the last time. Now, as soon as this fight starts, you will want to steal from them. Sid has the sneak glove on. Very important. From Reno, you get the tooth ring, which was translated poorly. It was supposed to be the tough ring, but nevertheless, very, very strong. And you'll also want to steal from Rude as well, and you will get the Zedric. Now, after you've done that, you can start wailing on them with whatever you feel like. I wanted to get this battle over quickly, and this was the first time I have cast this so far since having it. Knights of the Round. If you decide to use Knights of the Round, this fight will be over as soon as it is done being cast. Now, once you have defeated them, they of course, as usual, run off like little girls. But just as long as you got those items from them, that is what is important. I'll show you what they do exactly. The Zedric is an armor, and the Tough Ring is an accessory. Now the Zedric doesn't have any materia slots for it. That's the only downside to it, but its defense is so powerful that if you don't have to have materia on him or as much, it's worth putting on. Once we get into this room, we'll get the Mega Elixir and the Spirit Lance up on top. Then we're going to make our way down and grab some more items. This guy, you want to be absolutely sure you have your ribbons on, because it will cast Abnormal Breath, and we should already know that when players are confused, bad things can happen, and usually do happen. So head over to this helicopter and we'll get the Hades summon materia. And in the chest we get the High Wind, and High Wind is Sid's final limit break. This unknown is one of my least favorites. He is very powerful in terms of how much health he has and how much damage he inflicts. This tongue attack is pretty nasty, so I just decided to run away from him. Now we are going to come back here because there is something very, very valuable that we will be able to get later. And then last, the chest to your left is the Outsider. That is a weapon for Vincent. If you do come across fights in here, this small little room, these are actually fairly easy enemies to defeat. So if you do have battles in here, you shouldn't need to worry. You shouldn't have much problems getting by these guys. That's all the items that we can grab for now. So now we're going to leave. Even though you're leaving, it doesn't hurt to save right before, because every once in a while Emerald Weapon will be right there next to the sunken galinka. You could accidentally run into him. So now we're going to head back, and right before going to Rocket Town there is one more thing that I'm going to do. This is where I end up getting Vincent's ultimate weapon and final limit break. So there is the Zedric. Not only is its defense super high, it drains elemental attacks in half. But as you saw, it has no materia slots. So there's good and there's bad with it. Nevertheless, if you want every item, he is the only one that has it. And there is the tough ring, vitality and spirit plus 50. That is an obscene amount for an accessory. So here I was about to go into Rocket Town, then I remembered I should try and get Vincent's final stuff, so I'm going to do that. Also, there's one thing in Wutai that we can get now. If you remember, we got the Leviathan scales during our fight in the underwater reactor. If you don't know what that is for, you want to head to Wutai and go back up into the mountains. Now we've already been in this cave once before because we grabbed that chest, but we couldn't go any further. Now that we have Leviathan scales, it will get rid of the fire blocking our path. So over here, this opens up a chest. That there is a weapon for Yuffie. It is her strongest weapon that has materia growth on it. And then in this back corner we have the steel as well materia. So now that we have those extra items, I'm going to now go and get Vincent's stuff. We got Vincent's stuff. Now we head to Rocket Town. We are going to steal one more time, so it wouldn't hurt to put that sneak glove back on whoever you have with the steel materia. And we're going to head straight to the rocket. And now we're going to go through a series of fights with Shinra soldiers. They are, just like usual, pretty weak. If you steal from them, you can get 8-inch cannons, just like before. So if you don't want any more of those, just go ahead and kill them. I wanted to skip through these fights because they're pretty much the exact same thing, just showing you that you could steal, once again, 8-inch cannons from the soldiers. I thought maybe because that one guy in the back was different, you could steal something new, but no, he doesn't even have anything. So once you take care of the soldiers, keep heading up to the rocket. And it's funny that they just said that we would not be seeing them again, but sure enough, we have another run-in with the Turks. However, Reno and Rude are not, it's just Rude that's here. But the same thing applies. If you steal from him, you will get another Zedric. He is the only person that you can get Zedrics from. So the most possible that you can get is 3. This is number 2 of 3. So be sure to steal from him. And now that we got the Zedric, you can finish him off any way you would like. We got just one more fight with Shinra soldiers. This one is probably the easiest one because he's all by himself. And then after that, head to the cockpit. Alright, once we have control of cloud again, we're going to head to the right and then go up this ladder, and it will take us to the huge materia. This, however, is locked, and it requires a special passcode to unlock it. You can try and do this on your own, or I can give you the password. The very first time we did this was way back before internet, before YouTube. We did not have a strategy guide. We had to figure this out on our own. But if you get it on the first try, Sid will say something like you must have already known the password. If you decide you want to try it on your own, Sid does kind of give you hints towards what it could be, but you have a time limit if you fail the first time. So I don't remember exactly how much time you have, but you are on a time limit, and you just try and punch in as many combinations as you can. But if you want the code, it is circle, square, X, X, and that will get you the huge materia. Once you have the materia or don't have it, you head down the ladder and so as luck would have it, Shara is here and helps save Sid's life. Now we head to the escape pod, and we will make our way back to Earth. We will also see what happens when the rocket crashes into meteor, and that will do it for this part. In the next part, we will continue on with the story.